This is Coffee with Real Estate. I'm Susan, your host. As always, I'm here with our awesome producer, Kurt.
Great to be here. This is a fun show today. Let's do things different.
We're going to do things a little bit different. Maybe you buy your second home first. And as always, we'll do a fun subject of the day. So,
second home first.
Second home first.
Susan, what's your dream second home?
My dream second home is probably on a lake with mountains in the background. With giant windows. I want to look at something. Which is funny because I'm not a boat person. Everybody I know has a boat. But I don't have a boat.
You just want to look at it.
I want maybe get a pontoon boat. Just float around the river or the lake. Nothing too fast.
So this is an interesting concept you had here, Susan. You sent me some data. And, everybody buys the traditional way. Let's get our first home, the primary for the family. Let's buy it. Let's get a mortgage on it. And then when we can, we'll go for the fun dream vacation home.
That seems to be the way most people do it.
But what are you thinking here? What's the alternative?
The alternative is, people want to invest in real estate.
Right.
But maybe they live in a scenario where the real estate, the medium home prices are just out of their reach. Right. I'm thinking East, West Coast. There are some areas where it's out of the reach, but they want to invest in real estate. So there's an article out where this particular scenario has come up with this family, and they live in a big giant city, and the median home prices are expensive there, and getting a mortgage is twice as much as your rental. So it makes more sense for them to rent, but they want to invest in real estate. So they went a little bit in the outskirts in a more popular area and decided to invest in quote unquote what would be traditional in a second home. And they use it, and they also rent it out and have some income from it. So it's not a traditional way of doing things.
All right. So you gave me some pros and some cons, and just kind of give me your thoughts on these. It's an income stream when you buy it and you rent it out like that. And it potentially covers the mortgage on that second home. And maybe if it goes well, you get a little extra. What do you think? Yeah.
So, I think the one thing people have to be a little bit cautious of, I've listened to some different podcasts and stuff, and people look at TikTok and it's like, oh, I need to, my first home, I need to invest in investment property. Well, some of those people might be a little bit on the younger side and haven't had the experience of home ownership. So it all looks great on paper when you pro forma it out. I'm going to get this much rental income. It's going to cover my mortgage. But one of the things I would caution somebody of is make sure you have a hefty maintenance fund. And also account for vacancies. So be conservative on those two, because those things will come up.
So I think you got to know the area, right? And we looked at some places a long time ago. It's like, oh, let's buy it, second home, and we'll just rent it out, and it'll cover the
right
blah, blah, blah. And, we looked at they actually provided the numbers of maintenance and rentals and things like that. And the numbers didn't look good at all.
No,
remember that?
Didn't. Yeah, I remember that. And, by the time, if you're doing that, one of the major costs is in anything, whether it's short-term or long-term, is reletting fees, right?
Right.
So, and two is the maintenance. So can you participate in any of those two things that will take a big part of your cash flow? So are you close enough to be able to maintain it? The particular property you're talking about that we looked at was out of the country, and there was no way you were going to go there and fix a garbage disposal, right? Or something like that. So we would have to outsource all that. So by the time you outsource the reletting, whether it's through Airbnb, VRBO, your own site, or whatever, the reletting fees, everybody takes a little chunk. The management fees, who's taking the payment, how are you getting it, there's fees involved in that. And then the third is the maintenance. If you're doing a short-term rental or shorter-term rental, you have not just the maintenance of the property, and you have to keep it up or else you get bad reviews and then it just goes downhill. But it's also the maintaining of the furniture and of the textiles and of all those things. All that plays into it. So it's a lot of extra fees that people may not think about. They just look at, this is my gross income, and they look at it more like net income, and that's not realistic.
So on the other hand, I think of Stavola, another place that we have experience with, and time is the key for most things. And they bought the property. We weren't going to buy it or rent. We just rented
fantasized about it.
Yeah, and they bought the property when the community was developing, and for years the rates were quite reasonable, and then the region took off,
right?
And growth just went massive, and they just had this place in a really good location, and we were renting it initially for $150 a day, and you look at it now, it's over $1,000 a day.
Yeah.
And it's a nice place. I mean, it's not great. I don't think they've even replaced the furniture, but it's just a really nice location in that town that's grown a lot. So the upside is quite big now, because now they probably just have so much money they don't know what to do with it.
Right. And it's probably paid off. It's been a long time. Yeah, I remember when we stayed there, they were building the house next to it. Mm-hmm. So there was still development. And now it's all built out. So
you got back to my point. You got to know what you're doing.
You got to know the area, know what you're doing, know your costs associated with running it. And, but to your point, if you invest in a good, solid place in a up and coming kind of area, then it'll be a great long-term investment.
Okay. A couple other points you gave me. So this strategy is wealth building through equity and appreciation. And then there's also tax advantages. You can deduct mortgage interest rates, property taxes, insurance, maintenance, things like that.
The costs associated.
Yeah. So like you said, it's kind of diversification, but it's wealth building too, hopefully.
Well, that's, I think that's the point, is when you look at your, in this case, second home first, right? Which is just a nicer way of saying you're buying like a vacation rental home. You're not just buying a leasing house. But there's two ways to get a profit from that place. One is just by the monthly income, right? Whatever sticks. Two is the equity that you're building, to your point. So, it's not just like when you buy a stock, unless you have a stock with dividends, where it's just, that's it. And I think diversification is important in your overall portfolio. So if you're looking at, where do I want to be in 30 years? Do you want to just have all your eggs in one sort of basket? Or do you want to have, a little bit in real estate, a little bit in that? So that's interesting. What is a good, because I'm kind of jumping all over the place, because, the stock market's been a little volatile recently and people stress out, and they're saying median home prices are going down. Every year, everybody just says, oh, big crash is coming. And I haven't seen that, ever since 2008, every time somebody hiccups, they go, oh, real estate crash is coming. And there might be a little bit of a correction, maybe 1 or 2%, depending on the different areas. We've talked about some areas where there's a little bit of correction, but overall, it's held pretty steady. The median home prices have not plummeted down to 250. So if you invest in a good, solid area, you should see continued growth. Will you see the giant spikes that we saw in recent years? Probably not, but you'll see decent growth. I've had a lot of coffee this morning. It's coffee with real estate. Looking at an area where I have a listing right now, and the home prices there, it's a good quality area that is really sought after, but home prices there just steadily go up, I would say, between 3 and 7% every year. And that's been like that for 15 years. So it's just, once you get to the higher price range, and it's just, I keep thinking, where's the ceiling on this? Where's the ceiling? And it just keeps moving up. So real estate's a good, solid investment. You just have to really make sure you prepare yourself for the issues that come along with owning any house.
Right. So another one of the pros you mentioned is, or you put down for me, is, we're talking about a second home, which is usually like a nice spot.
Right.
Right. Like a vacation-y type spot.
Near some sort of recreation.
Yeah. Sought after, not just a second home somewhere in, Dayton, Ohio, that you rent out to general public. I don't know. But, in a kind of a vacation area. Right. So the nice thing about that is when it's not rented, you want it to be accessible so you can go enjoy the property as your second home, even though it's being rented to other people.
Exactly.
You got to keep it kind of standard.
Right.
You can't put all your nice knickknacks out.
Well,
but it's a nice place to have a vacation.
Exactly. Or make it close enough to where you can access it, right? And block off certain weekends that you want to use it. So you're still using it. It's not purely an investment property, right. But you're also on the quote unquote money you're saving on renting another place, right? You have to look at that as an overall cost savings, which right. Money saved is
money earned.
That's right.
Right. So, if you have a place that you like to go holiday in, if you're going to just go there and rent, it's quite expensive.
Bridget was looking at that because she has a place up in Wisconsin that she likes to kind of go to, but she knows the way her life is right now, they won't be able to spend just months and months at a time. So she was kind of looking at it. If we buy this, do we rent it out? And ultimately, they made some different choices. But, she was looking at that exact same scenario.
Okay. So most of the things you have to be careful about, you mentioned, it's a high financial commitment, operational and management burden. You think it might not be, but it is. Income volatility and vacancy risks. A lot of these places are seasonal.
Right.
So you got to make your big bang during the season. And that's
right.
when you want to go vacation too.
Yeah. And
you have a friend that they did quite well, I think, on their ski place. Mm-hmm. Right.
They had a fractional ownership on a really beautiful ski lodge. And we were the beneficiaries of that because we got to go. And so it was really nice.
But they rented it during the ski season more than they did during the summer, right?
Exactly.
You get higher rates.
Or we would go slightly off season or fall or something when they wouldn't get the highest of rates. But they did well with that.
Yeah. So Susan, go ahead and wrap it up.
So I think the crux of the matter is, real estate is a good long-term investment, but maybe you're not in a position where you want to buy your primary home right now. So think about, buying a secondary home as your real estate long-term investment. So you're not missing out on some of that growth, I think. But make sure you get all your facts before you jump in, so you're not caught off guard.
So would you do it or not? If you were, going through life again, would you buy your second home first?
If I was in a different situation, I would consider it. But, if I had to do the whole life again, I probably would buy my first home first. But it's an option people need to look at.
The sooner you get into it, the more time. Time is the key.
Time is the key. You were talking about that, just to digress a little bit, is 1 year of difference in your early 20s of investing in your IRA or Roth IRA. It's like, what, $1 million difference, $800,000 difference?
It's a lot. It can be a lot. Yeah. If you can put a chunk in and really not spend a lot of money and save a lot of money in the first few years when you're young, then your retirement looks a lot better.
Yeah, it's the compound compounding process that makes all the difference.
Okay, you ready for the fun topic?
Always.
Okay, so school's kind of wrapping down, right?
Yes.
So there's a full contact sport that scares parents. What do you think it is?
Assuming it's football?
No.
Rugby?
No.
Full contact?
Yeah, full, quote unquote, full contact.
I got nothing. Those are the only two I can think of.
So this person, she had it all figured out. She'd been researching this since January, crafting detailed color-coded spreadsheet to keep track of options and backup options.
Good God.
What do you think it is?
Full contact? I have nothing. I got my mind is blank. And it's a her?
Yeah, she
Boxing?
She
MMA?
posted up on her dining room table, and she put her phone on Do Not Disturb. She preloaded her credit card information online and favorited her top choices. Her children, 12, 9, and 6, knew to stay away while she was doing this.
Well, she sounds pretty analytical. She's not doing any sports. She's just looking at it. What's she
At
doing?
2 p.m. sharp, she sprang into action, racing to register her children for summer camp before spots filled up. It's the most competitive time of the year for working parents.
MMA?
No, just registering them for summer camp.
Oh, I know. Well, that's a stressful thing anyway. It's
quote
like,
unquote.
I got to get him out of
Full
here.
contact sport is just kind of a
That's the contact sport.
euphemism for it's pretty rough.
Okay, got it. I'm like, you had me totally confused.
The end of the school year may be months away, but parents are more focused on Swifties on Ticketmaster as they try to stitch together summer schedules for their children.
That is a full contact sport.
Because you cannot sleep on camp signups once they open.
And a lot of it is coordinating it with other parents, so their friends can be together at different camps, and that's a big part of it.
One doctor said she paused her rounds to register her daughter. Mothers in Facebook's groups compare it to the Hunger Games, lamenting the logistical nightmares, exorbitant cost, and strain on working families. They offer tips and tricks for locking in sought-after sessions. Pay attention to countdown clocks. Log in on multiple devices. Assign one adult per child in need of programming.
What a racket.
Despite her careful pre-gaming, Mooney managed to snag a spot in just 4 of the 7 camp sessions she aimed for, including half-days focused on chemistry and physics. She wound up on dozens of wait lists, and she cried.
Wow.
I guess these aren't like fun camps. These are like math camps.
Well,
or something
I think
like
you mix it up a little bit. You want to do like a week of STEM camp and then a week of fun run around camp.
My parents never did that.
My
parents didn't rush to sign me up for anything.
I went to one camp as a kid, one stay away camp, and no, I'm lying. Two camps. One I was pretty young, and another one I was like, it was the same year. I'm going to date myself. That Princess Diana got married because we watched it in what is that called? Where all the nuns live? Monastery.
Oh, the Covenant?
Yeah, we stayed. That's where we stayed with all the nuns.
Nice.
It's what you call a fun summer camp in Germany.
How long did you...
It was 2 weeks.
So I went to one overnight camp.
How long?
One night.
Did you leave, or was it just a one-night camp? That's called a sleepover. That's not a camp. It was a
one-night. That's all we could kind of...
muster up?
Pay for, I think, in the day.
Man.
I was going to this... my mom kind of signed me up for a little bit of a summer camp at a school. And they had trips where you would go. And most of the kids would go for like a week or but...
You 1/7 of that for you?
I went for a day. I'm like, I just got here. I wasn't that sad about it. I didn't really, it was kind of cool, but.
That's funny.
Okay. Let's see. So she cried. She says, you just got to hope you're not going to get a pissed off kid for missing the camp.
don't know if, I think a lot of it is we've got two working parents and they're like, wow, what do we do in the summer when the kids are home? So it's keeping them busy. More than I don't know a lot of kids who are like, I have to do a summer camp every day of the week. And, they're fine doing nothing.
This lady says she crosses her fingers each year that her children don't hate the camp she fought to get them into.
We did a STEM camp once with one of the boys. It was like what's it called? Those computer flowchart. What's it? Anyway, he didn't like it. Felt a lot like school.
He said, a week of Lego camp costs $350 per child. That doesn't sound bad.
That's not bad at all.
I suppose we could just buy them a Lego set and set them up in the living room, and they'd still have a Death Star at the end of it. So, for many parents, planning begins in December when their camps start posting their offerings. January, they run a camp up at
our local club.
At our local thing, and I think it's like the worst camp ever.
It makes me sad a little bit because everything is so structured. It's like, okay, now everybody play. Everybody stand in line. Everybody walk back. It's like you just kind of miss the days where kids can just roam free and do what they want to do. It's just everything is so everybody sit. Now it's your turn to hit the tennis ball. Now everybody else, it's your turn. Instead of just opening up the tennis court, throwing some balls at them and letting them go after it. Everything is just so structured, which I get. If you're running the camp, you want to be safe and you want to do all the things, but it makes me a little sad.
This person said, camps offering affordable experiences in nature are the hottest commodities. One nearby farm camp promised to teach children skills like foraging, composting, and mindfulness. And I'm just thinking weird thoughts. Anyways, putting the kids to work on the farm.
I'm like,
we need this hay moved over there.
Yeah, I could put them to work.
Registration filled up within minutes.
I could see that.
She just got error messages. The only booking process this person found more stressful is reserving a spot on the summer ferry to Martha's Vineyard. She had to queue online in February in a virtual waiting room. She learned she was blank in line. Well, guess what her number was online to get in?
17.
10,000.
Oh, my God.
She said, we got a slot at 9 p.m. It's a little late in the day.
It's a little bit.
But her daughter got a place at camp after being waitlisted.
Wow. Okay. It's tough being a parent.
Let's see. In San Francisco, this person has already enrolled her 4- and 7-year-old daughters in a Russian math camp.
Oh, my God. What a nightmare. Math camp.
Or others focused on theater and Brazilian martial art. Next comes the battle for arts and sports camps through the city's recreation and parks department. We didn't really have this issue.
With the boys?
Yeah.
We put them in some camps, but not like the whole summer planned out. Maybe one or two.
They play sports.
And they play sports.
And then sports took up a lot of the summer.
Yeah. I'm thinking when they were younger, we might have done a few day camps here and there, but I think we took that time to travel. So,
for sports.
For sports.
For sports and some holidays.
Yeah. It's
But apparently it's pretty stressful for people.
It is when you're planning out their summer, right? And then you're just looking at how do you entertain them and scheduling play dates. Everything's scheduled because a lot of people live in urban settings. I've talked about this before. Again, I had a lot of coffee today. In our city is so big. And there used to be, my sport that I love, lots of horse farms and equestrian facilities that you could maybe send it's usually mostly your girls to on the summer. And those have all been moved out as the city has grown. And developers have gobbled up that land. And so now you would have to drive an hour if you can even find one, and it's like, are you driving 2 hours a day just to get your kid to a horse camp? So these urban areas, it's difficult.
You might work some camps this year.
I might work some camps.
Just some fun camps.
Planning on it. But that's in a different city.
Yeah. Conspiracy theories are already swirling in a local parent group about tech-savvy caregivers, I like that word, who have figured out how to hack municipal websites and grab spots early, this person said. Otherwise, parents ask, how do these camps fill up in minutes? We don't have the technical skills for this. This person registered her 10-year-old son en route to a funeral reception this year. She confessed to harboring a top secret method that has never failed her.
Talking to people?
She opens a separate tab for each session she wants, placing them right to left in order of importance. The key, she said, is not having to navigate back to a central wish list on camp websites. It saves a whole click, which seems to be important. She needed about a dozen tabs this year, but says her hack worked perfectly. So I guess you have each registration site kind of set up.
Dozen tabs.
In a tab on your browser.
Which means that's 12 weeks, right? If it's perfect.
Well, she prioritizes. She puts a priority on each one, left to right.
Oh, I see.
So she might not want the ones at the end, but those are the ones if she's stuck, she takes those. It's probably the one up at our club.
So, yeah. What did we learn? Open up a summer camp. We have
I like summer camps. I don't think kids should spend the whole summer, but I guess if both parents can't spend time with them.
Right. There's a lady in our neighborhood. She runs a summer camp, a little little thing out of her house, just 5-6 kids face painting. I don't know what she does, but, so she, but
we don't want to know.
Yeah. And it's, like 3 hours a day for a week or something. And she does it several weeks, and she does great with it. So I think what the lesson learned is run a summer camp.
Yeah, you want to keep the kids busy and interested. I think you put them in sports myself.
I agree.
There's always sports going on.
There's always sports.
And they always make room for you, pretty much.
Yeah, and it's semi-organized, but they still have the camaraderie, and they play, and, lots of running around. So lots of activity, but that's kind of how we're wired.
Yeah, I think that for the math and that type of stuff, you can do that all online now. You can go to Khan Academy and have them sit down for an hour a day and do that stuff. Right.
After they come back from sports camp when they're tired.
Yeah.
Eat, a little rest, and then let's do some math. Yeah, that's the way.
I think it's a good idea, though.
Yeah. Well, we know everything about raising kids.
If I had to do it again, I would probably
that's the thing. Do it twice. Anyway, everybody have a great day, and maybe buy your vacation home first, and then plan out your summer. Have a good one.
Adios.